In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace your fuel pump strainer on your Toyota Camry. It's located under the back seat. You're going to want to remove the cover to the fuse box that's under the hood. I'm on the driver's side. Then you're going to remove the relay, that's the third one in, and set it aside. This is for the fuel pump. Now we're going to get in the vehicle and we're going to turn the car on and try to get it to start. It won't start most likely. And we're going to depressurize the fuel system. That should be enough, and that will depressurize the system. We're going to remove our rear seat. To do that, you're going to pop up on the bottom here and pull it out. You're going to have to remove your seat belts. Just push them through. Do the same on the other side. Then you can remove your seat. We're going to free up our wire here. Just use a flathead screwdriver and work your way around. And then that should be free. And now we're going to pry up on the cap. Again, use like a pry bar or a flathead screwdriver. There should be some sticky stuff that's holding it on. I'm just going to separate it out. You can pull this rubber grommet thing through if you need to. Get it out of the way. Now we're going to disconnect our connectors. To do that, you're going to push down on the tab here, and there's one here. Push down and pull. I'm just going to clean it up before I remove the rest of the connectors. If you need to, use a pair of pliers and remove that. Now we're going to take the wire out of here. Makes it easier. I'm just going to take this out completely, and then make sure you don't get the adhesive on anything because it's really hard to get off after, so I'm going to just leave mine where it won't get stuck to anything. Next up is this line. We're going to remove this line. You're going to need a small screwdriver, flathead, and take out the lock. So just pull it out from back here. Be careful not to let this go flying. You're gonna need to pull this lock out all the way and set it aside. And now we're gonna take our line out and set that aside as well. Now we're gonna take off this ring by undoing these bolts. Now we're going to undo our bolts using an 8mm socket with an extension. Make sure you don't use any battery-operated power tools. You don't want to cause any sparks. So I'm using my air tool. If you don't have an air tool, just go ahead with your manual tool. I have a bucket next to me to catch all the bolts and also any fuel. Now we're ready to pick this up. I'm going to tip it slightly. Make sure I don't mess up the float. And also if there's any extra fuel in the fuel pump, it will come out. To remove this, the strainer, we're going to take off this yellow cover here. To do that, you're going to slide a very thin screwdriver underneath these little tabs and slowly take it off. Careful you don't break it. Once you get one side, you can go on the other side. Okay, so once you get to the very end of the prying and you're hanging on by a thread, you're going to want to put your hand here and take it off like that. Now we're going to take this rubber piece off, and underneath you'll see this washer. It's a push-on washer. Now we're going to remove our washer. Once you get it lifted slightly, you can try to get your screwdriver underneath if you're going to reuse your washer. And start prying at it to get it off. Once you pop it off, set it aside, and then you can pop off your strainer. I'm putting a flathead screwdriver in again. Once you feel it free up a little bit, you can take it off the rest of the way by hand. Put your strainer on, you're going to press it in. Make sure it's all the way down. Now you're going to apply your washer. Press that on as well. You may need to walk it on, maybe use some pliers if needed. Once you get that on, you're going to make sure it's secure. Then you're going to put this on. Make sure it fits in nicely. It fits over here on top, and then it fits between these two metal tabs. Lastly, we're going to put our plastic hold down on, line it up, and snap it on. Check your work, make sure it's all snapped in. Make sure that little plastic piece, the little black rubber piece, is sticking through. Make sure you put the pump in the same way you took it out. I'm going to dip in the float. Drop it down. The connectors should be in the same spot that you took it out. This cover only fits one way, so that's going to make it easier. So this little half moon shape goes over the half moon on top of the fuel pump. So just line that up, and then you're going to turn it accordingly for the bolts. Make sure all your bolts are lined up. That looks good for us. Now I'm going to get my bolts going. I'm going to start them by hand. And it doesn't matter where you go, just starting them by hand. But once we start tightening them down, it's going to be important to go from directly across from the bolt that you install. So it goes crisscross like this. That way it sits evenly all the way around. Now we're going to tighten them down in the pattern I discussed and torque them. All right, so let's snug these up and then we'll torque it to 52 inch-pounds. It's 52 inch-pounds, and then you go directly across. And continue the rest of the way. Now I'm just going to go around one more time, make sure I got everything. Alright, so now we're going to feed our wiring harness back through here. Now we're going to feed this through the top of our lid here, and then we're just going to pop this in. It's easier to do when it's not on. That looks good. I'm going to set that aside. Let's put our fuel line on. Get your locking clip ready. You just push this down and lock it in. I'm going to push in the ears on either side, make sure it fits through. might have to push down on the line and then lock it in. Now we're going to connect our connectors. Make sure you hear that click as you click it into place. Now we're going to put our cap on. Press down, make sure it adheres. And now we can put our seat back in, position it, and then get your seat belts ready to get through. So put them through the holes. There's a little plastic flap that you want to open up, and then push the seat belt through. You might need a pair of pliers to pull it out the rest of the way, and do the same on the other side. Once you get it started, you can use your pliers again to get it out the rest of the way. All right, now you're going to line up the bottom here and push it into the locking tab that's on the bottom. It should snap in like that. Do the same on the other side. Make sure it's lined up. Now we're going to put our relay back. Press it in, make sure it's lined up correctly, and put your cover back on. Now we're inside the vehicle. We're going to turn our key on. So we're just going to turn the key on and make sure that fuel pump goes on. It's got like a hum to it. And I'm just going to prime the system by doing that a few times. If you don't hear a hum after you turn that key on, your fuel pump may not be working. So you want to make sure you check your connections.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.